Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith, and how are you all today? Well, there's a massive explosion down in Texas. What a surprise, huh? We haven't had any explosions here lately, and they don't mean anything, and certainly there's nothing to worry about. Let me talk about that in a minute. By the way, before I get into that, those of you all who are on with us on Patreon, make sure that you check and go over into the community section regularly. We have some of the greatest resources over there from some of our patrons. Hondo Bob has put up some excellent stuff. Seems like I wrote down something here that he's put up just a whole bunch of stuff on about EMP and CME, and he knows the science of it. And Triple G has put up so much over there. Triple G has put up some stuff on antibiotics. There is going to be a shortage of OTC, over-the-counter medications coming up. We've seen that. I was actually going to do one on that today, but I'm going to put that off. Triple G has put up some excellent resource material on the Patreon, in the community section. And Hondo Bob has put up some stuff on, it's a multi-part primer or primer, depending on how you say it, about multi-factor authentication, smart cards, chips, RFID, stuff like that, stuff you really should know. And these guys are the ones who know about it. I don't know enough about it to talk about it, and so I don't. But we're lucky over on Patreon to have these kinds of people who actually know the stuff, and they share it with us. It really is an education. I find myself going to the community section more and more and reading this stuff with great interest. I try to read it until I can understand it well enough to share it with you, but I don't. So just read it. If you're not with us on Patreon, that's one of the many reasons you need to be over there. Come join us. So this explosion down in Texas. Okay, Pasadena. Let's see, massive explosion. Let me back this up and I'll just read to you what this is. Massive explosion, fire at Texas chemical plant. Let's see, as liquid petroleum gas was being transferred between tankers. Let me go down and see what they say about it. They say it's been extinguished, and they're continuing to monitor the air around the plant, just like they monitor all that water up there, in Ohio. The explosion and fire at the INEOS chemical site in Pasadena area was reported, blah, 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 as two explosions, but actually one BLEVE, which they tell me means boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion, according to Harris County Commissioner Adrian Garcia. The explosion, which was captured on Houston TransStar cameras, occurred when an over-the-road tanker truck transported liquid petroleum gas from one tanker to another. Okay, well, we'll see what happens with that, right? I will mention a little bit about, no, I'm going to save that for another one. This is enough. Keep your eye on this. These things are going to keep on happening. What's there to say about it? A lot and not much, to be real honest. A lot of questions, a lot of suspicions about these continued explosions, derailments, truck accidents, tanker accidents. Why do all these happen when we have shut down our own domestic petroleum production? And yet, not a lot to say because, to be honest, basic preparedness is what you need to protect yourself against the results of these things. It's just one thing after another, but it all goes back to being able to live and live well, because I keep stressing that. Too many people try to prepare just so they'll eke by. Don't do that. Up your game a little bit. We tag, or I tag all these videos. We prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. Don't let these people tear the world down around you without you doing what it takes to survive, not just survive the storm, but keep on living the way you want to. Okay? And the whole premise of integrative preparedness is to be able to live well, independent of all these external and interrelated systems over which you have no control. And that means food, water, heat, shelter, protection, medical, all of these things. We talk about these things all the time. There's not a lot more that can be said about them, except I think more and more people are starting to take these things seriously. We continue to watch the collapse of the economic system. I'm going to talk about that in a minute over on the Prepping for Prosperity site. I'm not going to talk about that anymore here, except to say the economy is collapsing, and it is going to have horrendous consequences for those who are not financially prepared. And I want to say this. A lot of people don't want to think, and I've discovered this just recently because I had some people tell me this, and at first I was a little bit surprised, but I take their word for it. I think they're right. They say the reason that a lot of people don't want to hear about financial preparedness is because they're already in such financial difficulties. They don't think there's any way out of it. And so they don't want to think about it. They want to think about the whole thing crashing down and kind of giving them a restart. Okay? Well, although I wrote my books about a total collapse, we're not going through a total collapse now. We're going through a collapse of the financial system, and the whole world isn't going to go away. If you're not financially prepared, you're going to suffer big time. You really are. But I want to say this to you. Don't hope for a total collapse that will relieve you of dealing with it. You can improve your position. You can get out of those financial difficulties. Matter of fact, I think I was going to make one on Prepping for Prosperity over there. Either I'm going to replace that with how to deal with your financial preparedness and get yourself out for those people who are really having tough times, how to get yourself out of it. Because you can. You have to understand you can. Either I'm going to do it completely on that, or I'll fold it in with what I was already going to do. We'll see when I get over there. I'm going to close this out now so that I can get over there and make that video for the people on Prepping for Prosperity. More of you need to be over there, to be real honest. The link is down below. The link is down there beneath how to get to the Patreon channel, where you need to be, how to get my books, which you need to have. I know. We don't need, you just want to pump your books. You know why I want you to read my books? Because it tells you everything. If I could sit down and talk to you for a year and tell you everything you need to know about preparing for, surviving, and then rebuilding after a total collapse, whether it's of the world or your life, it's in these books. And you can get them from me or Amazon, however you want to do it. The links are down below, and then the link for Prepping for Prosperity is also down there. I'm going to go make that one. Please, you guys who are having financial difficulties, come on over there. You don't have to leave a comment. You can just watch. You can lurk. Just pick up the things that I tell you, and it's going to help you. If you're in a bad situation, it's going to help you. You need to get back up out of that ditch so that you can live a life. Okay? All right. Listen, like I said, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. So prepare well today in all ways. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.